This is RSN, Rangers Sports Network, presented by Progressive. It is baseball time in Texas.
Oh my goodness, what a grab! To the wall! And the Rangers win it! Oh man, I don't know that I've ever seen a more welcoming sight than Arlington here in mid-August. Rangers baseball presented by Choctaw Casinos and Resorts. The Rangers coming home after a tough road trip and start this homestand tonight against the visiting Washington Nationals. All right, welcome in everybody. Great to have you along with us tonight. I'm Dave Raymond. He's David Murphy. And yeah, we're happy to be back indoors. No weather problems here. The Rangers' problem, if you will, has been how they've played on the road. The good news is they're here at home, and the schedule from this point forward, 22 of 37 remaining games here at home.
Yeah, it is a fun time of year to be a baseball fan. 125 down, 37 to go. And here's the schedule through the end of August, or excuse me, through September 5th. You look at the Washington Nationals, the Angels, good time to make up some ground against these two teams at the bottom of their respective divisions. It gets a little bit more difficult on the road, and then the Athletics and Tampa on the next homestand. But either way, 12 out of the next 18 at home. Rangers have done well at home. That's one of the splits in baseball, home road. Another one is lefties versus righties, and Jake Berger has eaten up some lefties this year. 283 average, 12 extra base hits, 899 OPS. Did some damage against the lefties on the road trip. Our Mercedes-Benz cover every base is going to show you those home runs. He's hit for some power recently. He's really been dominant against the first pitch of an at-bat this season, hitting .371 with 7 homers. 280, 832 OPS with runners in scoring position, and that has every bit to do with why he is leading the Rangers with 73 RBIs. Rangers are going to need some offense if they're going to turn this thing around, make up some ground, and get into this playoff hunt for good.
That will be the key. The offense was dormant on the road trip. Maybe they'll take off here. You know, speaking of offense, let's get to know these Washington Nationals. Very good offense. Iffy pitching. More on them in the spotlight with Laura Stickles next. Rangers baseball on RSN is presented by Progressive Insurance. Step up to the plate for savings. Visit progressive.com. By Amazon. Spend less on your kids for back to school. And by Choctaw Casinos and Resorts, the official casino and resort of the Texas Rangers.
Pollen?
The Rangers and the Nationals set for the first of 3 games here in Globe Life Field. The Rangers happy to be back in Texas after struggling on that 2-5 road trip out to the West Coast, and also happy to be facing an opponent not in the division. As we bring you down to field level here in Texas, I am Laura Stickles. For the Rangers, the Washington Nationals provide both a pretty strong opportunity as well as a difficult challenge, and it's going to be up to the Rangers pitchers to handle that challenge, as the Nationals offense has been really good this season, guys. Skip Schumacher says they can hit, they can slug, they run the bases well, and if you're not paying attention and a no-out count, they can absolutely take advantage of you. And you can see it in these numbers here with our Choctaw Casinos and Resorts game within the game. The Nationals lead the big leagues with 5.32 runs per game. They also lead the big leagues in home runs and stolen bases. But below that, you can see the opportunity for the Rangers, and that's because the Nationals pitching has struggled this season. Today, they have a young pitcher, Jackson Kent, making just his second big league start. And for this Rangers offense that scored just 2.6 runs per game out in the West Coast, that's an opportunity that they'd love to take advantage of, guys.
Yeah, I mean, you can see what they're capable of offensively. They can definitely play a spoiler down the stretch. When you can hit the way that they do and have the speed they do, you need to pay attention, but maybe the bats can come alive against a subpar pitching staff. Well, here's Cal Quantrill. He'll go to work for the Rangers tonight. He gets the start. It is his 9th of the season, 25 games overall. Last 5 games, you look at the bottom, 2.21 ERA with just a 167 batting average against. He features a cutter, sinker, and splitter. Each of those, excuse me, a four-seamer as well. Each of those offerings he throws over 20% of the time. The curveball, he just mixes in 5% of the time.
All right, well, hoping for a big start from Cal today against the Washington Nationals team that, let's face it, we just saw some of the numbers. They can do some damage. And the Trajan Wealth lineup today for the Nats, C.J. Abrams up at the top of this thing is dynamic and offensive force as there is. Ortiz, the former Ranger farmhand, batting second and playing first base, and it's Brady House. Lyle, Cruz, Vivas in the middle, and then it's Harry Ford, Nasim Nunez, their new shortstop, and Jacob Young in center field batting ninth.
Defense for the Rangers tonight. No surprise in the outfield. Langford, Carter, and Nimmo. Cody Freeman gets the start at third base. Seager and Duran. Your starters up the middle, excuse me. Jake Berger over at first base. And how about Danny Jansen? Good to see him back there behind the plate tonight.
Yeah, great to have Jansen back, and hopefully he can impact this lineup going forward. We know he can do a good job back behind the dish. So we're ready to go. An important homestand for the Texas Rangers beginning here tonight. And the first pitch from Quantrill. This is wildly off the plate for ball one. Abrams hitting .278, 29 homers, 91 RBIs. And Quantrill's 1-0. That's too tall. Abrams with the on-base average of .354, so he gets on base. He's got some slug, great speed as well. Today DHing, and he'll watch one low. The big story for the Nationals over the weekend was the announcement that Abrams will be moving off shortstop and moving to second base. And he takes right down the middle for a strike. Today DHing, but the idea is that probably tomorrow will be his first day at second base. And he has, quite honestly, handled it really well. The 3-1 pitch fouled back. Not an easy thing to take a guy who's a shortstop in the big leagues, and a good one at that. He was the starting shortstop for the National League All-Star team, and tell him, hey, we think you're better somewhere else. Payoff, and he drives that one out to right field. It takes Nimmo back. It's over his head and then bounces over the wall. That is a book rule double for C.J. Abrams. A moment there, I thought perhaps Nimmo had a play on it.
Yeah, I think so too. He seemed that he had a beat on it off the bat. It almost looked for a minute that he may have lost the ball. I don't know if it was in the lights or maybe he didn't have a beat on it. But yeah, it looks like he's on the right track. He pulls up at the last second. Not exactly sure why.
You know, it is that time of night where sometimes the sun will give people trouble on the right side of the field, as Ortiz goes after the first pitch and pops it over the left side out of play. And you'll say, well, I don't see any slivers of sunshine in right field. Well, not on the field, but on the wall, right in that little nook where he was chasing. That light that you're looking at coming through those windows, you see right there on top of that National sign, that might have been right in his eyes at that moment.
100%. And that's one of the more difficult things to handle as an outfielder. This is a weird start time. Well, I guess it's not a weird start time. It's weird that the sun is just peeking through at this time of night just for an inning or so. Well, here's another look at it. You take your eye off on it for a minute. You look back up again. Seems like he's headed in the right direction and then just doesn't quite get there.
Well, meanwhile, the count goes to 0-2 on Abimelec Ortiz. He was one of the 5 Rangers traded to the Nationals in exchange for Mackenzie Gore, and he's had good success here early on with the Nats. Pulls that foul. Stays 0-2. I mean, already 5 home runs in relatively limited time, and now we'll get a visit for Quantrill, so that's interesting. 0-2 the count on Ortiz, and Jordan Teague's jogging out there. Quick message he wanted to relay.
This early in the game, you would think that maybe it's something mechanical. Maybe, you know, he went into the start a little banged up and he's checking on his health. Or maybe it's something where he sees Abrams is looking into his glove and trying to pick up his pitches from second base. It's not very common to see a mound visit second batter of the game.
No, especially with the count 0-2. Abrams does have good speed. Doesn't look like he's taking a real aggressive lead. And the 0-2, and that's fouled away again. So Ortiz, just 24 years old, signed out of Puerto Rico by the Rangers back in 2021. And in that trade back in late January, Mackenzie Gore coming the Rangers' way. 5 players headed to Washington, the 0-2. And Ortiz pops it up. That might be playable. Freeman over in foul ground and leans over that railing to make the grab. Nice play.
Good job by Cody. He spends some time in the outfield from time to time, so he can catch the ground balls, he can catch the fly balls. A little pop up here. Slight lean over the rail, navigates his ground very well. Ortiz did a good job of battling there, just trying to get a ground ball over on the right side to move Abrams to third, just unsuccessful.
So that brings up Brady House, third place hitter, the third baseman, .239 hitter this year with 9 home runs. And Quantrill's 1-0. Right in there. House, another one of the young players on this team, 23 years old. It's a first-round draft pick in 2021 out of high school in Georgia, Winder, Georgia. And he watches one low. The suspicion is that he will grow into or develop into, you know, a guy with 25 to 30 homer kind of power in his career. He's really good defensively. I like him defensively. That's fouled back. 2-2. He is, to this point anyway, found strikeouts to be a little bit of a weakness. Quantrill already 15 pitches into the inning. Here's his 2-2 and a chopper up the middle. That's a high hop for Duran. Throws out House, 2 away. So Abrams gets to third base, but with 2 away, that's not that significant a maneuver. As now Dalen Lyle will step in.
I was trying to keep an eye on Abrams after that mound visit to see if there was anything that he was doing differently from pitch to pitch and trying to possibly relay any signs to his hitter. I don't know if I saw anything that really stood out.
Yeah, and if he was relaying signs, it didn't end up really leading to anything. Diving stop third by Freeman. Hops up and makes a great throw. What a play by Freeman down at third. He gets Lyle, and it's a scoreless top of the first.
Well, first of all, he went into the dugout, leaned over the rail, and made a nice catch on the pop-up. Here, little ground ball, goes to the glove side. Nice dive and a throw across to finish off the Nationals in the first.
Taco Bueno.
All right, well, the Rangers ready to get after it with the bats, hoping this homestand can maybe turn some things around. As we take a look at our Trajan Wild lineup, the Rangers 61 and 64, 2 back of Houston. They will start it off with Wyatt Langford in left field. He's been slumping lately. Corey Seager's heated up. He's at shortstop, and then it's Jake Berger. Nemo, Duran, and Foscue in the middle. Danny Jansen back in there for the first time since early June. Cody Freeman and Evan Carter rounded out.
It'll be Jackson Kent making his second major league start for the Nationals. In 4 innings in his major league debut, he gave up 3 earned runs. He walked 5 and struck out 6. Here's his arsenal. 4-seamer at 44% of the time, slider 24% of the time.
All right, so his second major league start. Still very new to all of this, and his first pitch is buried for ball 1.
Left out the changeup and the curveball. He throws the changeup 22% of the time, curveball 10% of the time.
This ball hit right up the middle. That's a base hit. So Langford starts the evening off well for the Rangers.
That's definitely a good sign. Rangers offense has done a really good job against left-handed pitching as a whole this year. And Kent with an early base runner as Langford takes it right back where it came from.
Man on. Some speed over there as well, and Corey Seager takes inside. Seager, 203 average, 12 homers and 30 RBIs. He's had 2 days of rest now. Rangers had yesterday off, and Seager was not in the lineup, did not play in the finale Sunday in Sacramento against the Athletics. It's this one on the ground, up the middle, and that's a base hit just to the right of the second baseman Vivas. Langford able to get to third base. Back-to-back singles is how the Rangers begin the evening.
Oh, Rangers knew what they needed to do coming back home. They needed to get some offense, and it's going to help if you get it early. You get a single from Wyatt Langford, and then Seager rolls over one to the pull side, but stays inside of it enough to get it into the outfield, and Langford goes first to third.
All right, well, the Rangers have set themselves up here nicely in this first inning. Now let's see if the middle of the order can cash them in. Jake Berger goes after the first pitch. Ground ball shortstop. Nunez to second for 1, and the throw to first in time for the double play. 6-4-3 twin killing. Rangers get a run out of it. No RBI for Berger, and it takes a little bit of the steam out of the inning. But they will take that run as we take a look at our Chevy under the hood. Brandon Nimmo coming to the plate, and so far in August, pretty good job by Nimmo. The average up over 320 with 3 homers, a couple of doubles. At OPS creeping up near 900. Base is now empty. And Nimmo fouls that one back. Always a little, I guess, unsure, uneasy of what to make of what's happened in the first 3 hitters. Love the fact that you get a run out of it. There's no question. The Rangers are 45 and 16 when they score first. So that, I mean, first and foremost, you want to go there. But at the same time, you wonder to yourself, like, is that a good trade? The double play for the run. Not that you have a lot of choice in the matter. A pop up third base side, headed foul, and a nice leaning play over there by House. Wow, so both third basemen making pretty good plays up along the railings in foul ground. Rangers get that first run of the night, though. Langford able to race in on the double play. We go to the second inning tonight. Rangers up early, 1-0.
Good time for our Baylor Scott and White health game diagnosis. Rangers needed some early offense. They got it. How about some defense? Cody Freeman playing the hot corner tonight. Leans over that railing, catches a pop-up, and then goes in for the dive and makes a throw across to end the first. He has been in the action so far. He hasn't even had an at-bat yet.
All right, well, look what he's done so far is now Dylan Cruz lifts the first pitch of the inning out to center field, and that's an easy first out. Quantrill could use a quicker inning in the second. Here comes Jorge Vivas. Today getting the start at second base, 244 hitter. He'll take right on the outside corner. That is strike one.
I think that is a great way to attack Quantrill, a veteran pitcher. If you get a first pitch out, go ahead and make sure that you burn off that outside corner. There's a good chance that second batter of the inning is going to be taking, and sure enough, you're up in the count 0-2 right now.
Oh, I see the one pitch out to start an inning, almost an automatic take.
It's not always. I guess if you're the second hitter, it really depends on how you've been swinging the bat lately. If you're going to swing, you really want to make sure that it counts.
Well, ahead 0-2, and he bounces that one up to the plate.
I guess we'll just put it this way. If I was the second hitter of an inning after the first guy just flew out, I would most likely be taking.
Right. So, and I should know that, like a scouting report, if you're coming up. At the same time, if that second hitter, let's say it was Corey Seager, you would be mindful of the fact that he will pull the trigger.
It's pretty much at any time swing situation. Now, all right, so if you get the first two guys of an inning out on the first pitch,
there's no doubt.
I mean, Seager, even if it's Seager, you've got to take the first one.
I'm with you. I'm with you. 1-2 on Vivas, and I trust that where they're back-to-back one-pitch putouts, start an inning, and Seager was batting third, I trust he would take a pitch
or hit a homer.
It's quite the gamble. 1-2 on the way, and that one is lined out to left, but Langford is there. So 2 gone, and it gives us a moment here for Baylor's Scott and White Health. Two away. Here is Harry Ford. Right-handed hitting catcher, and he taps one weakly toward third. That goes foul. Ford, a 208 hitter with a couple of home runs. He's only 23 years old, and boy, that is the story with his team. So many young players like Ford, a former first-round pick by Seattle, out of North Cobb High School in Georgia. And Cobb County, man, that is where they build great baseball players down there. 0-2 the count. Ford was a top 5 prospect in the Mariners organization prior to being dealt last December. And that deal for reliever Jose Ferrer, the 0-2, and that's a little bit up. 1-2 the count. And Ford now has the great fortune of working with these Washington Nationals. Bobby Wilson, their catching coordinator. There's a swing and a miss, and Ford strikes out an 11-pitch inning for Quantrill. So now Quantrill wanted a slightly more efficient second inning. He got that. His 11th pitch. Good for the strikeout of Ford. Blew the fastball right past him for a 1-2-3.
Danny Jansen back in the Rangers lineup today for the first time in nearly 2.5 months. He was activated off the 60-day IL, and Austin Wins was designated for assignment. And when we spoke with Skip Schumacher today, you could just tell how excited he is to have Jansen back. He said behind the dish, he provides that veteran presence. Pitchers love throwing to him at the plate. He can hit home runs, and he can play small ball. And then, of course, he's a great personality in the clubhouse. So Jansen provides a little bit of everything, and the Rangers at this point in the year will gladly take all of it, guys.
Yep, defense, offense, pitchers love throwing to him. He's had some big hits this season. The Rangers really have been fortunate with the 4 guys they've had behind the plate at whatever time of the year. All guys just great clubhouse presence. They are all guys that bring you some different talents, and I think they all work well with the pitching staff.
Duran will lead off this second inning. Jansen due up third, and Zeke bounces it down the third baseline, just foul. 0-2.
As it just gets out in front of this one. I believe it was a changeup. It's fair for a long time, just goes foul at the last second. That's one that you'd love to see stay fair with Zeke's speed. That changeup is probably a pitch that we'll see a good amount. Now, we heard that Kent throws that pitch really well for a strike. He was struggling with his fastball in his major league debut. He walked 5 in 4 innings. And he did not have the command with his fastball that you would expect him to have, but I think it was just more of a testament to major league debut jitters and the fact that he was pitching against his hometown team, the one that he rooted for growing up in the Cubs.
Want to do the count. Yeah, there's some guys on that team who can be really tough on pitchers. And he expended a lot of pitches in the first 2 innings of that game. Really put himself in a bit of a hole. It was probably a great accomplishment that he was able to go as deep as he did in that game. Duran making him work. Fouls that one away. Stays 2-2. He will see an 8th pitch in this at bat.
That's a good adjustment for Zeke right there. We just saw the weak ground ball that just ended up foul. That's exactly what the pitcher's wanting you to do with a changeup. And so what do? You see the ball deep in the strike zone. He fouls off the changeup before this pass pitch to the right side. And you can tell that he's still trying to see the ball deep in the strike zone as he let that fastball get a little deep on him.
Oh, and he got Zeke going halfway that time for a strikeout. First strikeout of the night for Kent.
Yeah, I don't mind the approach right there. For these Rangers hitters, you definitely don't want to get beat with the changeup. So you see the fastball as long as you can. I guess the key there is you got to make sure you don't chase it up and out of the strike zone.
Foscue, and he takes a curveball for a strike. Justin DHing today, .252 average, 7 homers and 21 RBIs. Well, the Rangers could really use to get Foscue going again. He did play Sunday in Sacramento, went 1 for 3. But he's slowed down a little bit after getting off to that great start. Made a massive difference for this team, in particular against lefties. And that one is hit sharply down the line, just foul. Oh, and 2. So the rookie Kent back at it, and that one's off the hands, fouled back our way.
You were kind of making a point at the end of last inning, just not knowing what to make of the first 3 Rangers hitters, single, double play. You know, I think when the Rangers have been going well offensively, they've been scoring in a lot of different innings. And every now and then they'll put up a crooked number. And I feel like that's the way to go. You know, you consistently do it first inning through 9th inning, you're probably going to put up 5 or 6 runs. But especially the first time through the lineup, you like the way these guys are grinding through their at-bats. We've seen a lot of foul balls, so maybe they're just missing some fastballs, and they're trying to see that changeup and just get a feel for what the difference is between what his fastball and what his changeup looks like.
1-2 the count on Foscue now. Well, Foscue since July 24th is just 5 for 30. 167 average. And he hits that ball well, deep out to left. A towering shot. It's gone! 8th of the year for Foscue. And that adds to the Rangers' lead. It's 2-0.
There it is right there. Rangers scoring early in multiple innings. And they do it this time via the long ball. Foscue, with the struggles that he's had, it was just a matter of time before he was going to break out. That's a big swing for him for an early insurance run.
8-pitch at bat. It ends up in that big homer. Now curveball to Jansen for a strike.
That one was long gone. We just saw the replay. Foscue knew it was gone right off the bat.
It's funny. Some guys, they'll celebrate. It's just an explosion of an expression. He turned, looked to the dugout, and there was just this big smile on his face. That was cool.
I got that one.
1-2 on Danny Jansen. I think Foscue can make a big difference for this team. When he was swinging it well earlier, they were as tough as anybody on lefties. And there's some anticipation they'll see a few more lefties here coming up on this homestand. Well, they need Justin to be that kind of a threat right there. Two balls, 2 strikes to Jansen. And this one off the handle and a broken bat liner to third for the 2nd out. So Rangers also doing a better job of working Kent just a little bit this inning to the tune of those 21 pitches. They fouled off 9 balls, I believe, this inning. So here's Freeman, and he takes upstairs. Cody getting that start at third base, already made a couple of really nice plays down at the hot corner. You mentioned it a little while ago. He's done a good night's work before ever getting an at bat. Here is his first at bat.
And you saw the numbers. He's gotten off to a slow start offensively this season, but man, if you remember what he was able to do and just infuse energy into this team about this time, say late August, early September last season, it would be great to see him duplicate that.
3-0, and he takes high, ball 4, and Freeman on at first via the walk. And that will get a visit from their pitching coach, Simon Matthews. He is just, what is he, 33, I think, 33 or 35 years old. He's really young. They have maybe the youngest staff and brain trust, not just in baseball today, that is clear, but maybe in baseball history.
What is not clear is whether or not he is related to Travis Jankowski.
Yeah, right. Spicoli has delivered his message and heads back to the dugout.
flowing locks.
The flowing locks, indeed. Yeah, he's 30 years old, Matthews. 30. I mean, there are a lot of guys in uniform playing in the game today who are well in excess of 30 years old. Here's Evan Carter. And he takes high. It's a Nationals team that has been shaken up in the last year. They lost 96 games last year. It was their 5th straight season of at least 90 losses. And so they decided to shake things up a little bit. Mike Rizzo, their longtime president of baseball operations, Davey Martinez, their manager. They were shipped out. Blake Butera, you were just looking at right there, 33 years old. Very young manager, youngest in the game. The youngest, they say, in at least 50 years in Major League Baseball. This one lined out to left field. Lyle is there, and he makes the catch. Carter retired on a line out. Inning is done. Rangers add to their lead, though. Justin Foscue, he was needing a little something, and he got it with that home run to left. And the Rangers lead it 2-0.
Well, Rangers going to work early tonight. They've started this homestand off on the right foot. They lead 2-0 in the top of the third, and our Coors Banquet Start Your Legacy. This guy on the mound, Cal Quantrill, last 4 games, 17 1/3 innings. The ERA just over 1.5. He's punched out 17. League's just hitting 164 against him, and the WHIP is under 1. We've talked time and time again about he has been an unsung hero for this team and for this starting rotation. He has better numbers in the rotation than out of the bullpen, but overall he has had a really nice year for this Rangers team.
Two scoreless so far. Nasim Nunez watches a strike, and it's 1-1. Nunez, a switch hitting shortstop, celebrating a birthday today, and I guess you could say finally getting his shot at being the everyday shortstop. Puts this one on the ground, right side of the infield. Rolls up nicely for Duran, who throws him out, 1 away. Bring up Jacob Young, 9th place hitter. A good mix so far today for Quantrill. That's his 3rd ground ball out. So 3 outs hit in the air and the 1 strikeout. Young's been swinging a hot bat for the Nationals, and he backs away from strike 1. Young has some speed, good center fielder, and a little bit of power. 10 home runs. Little bouncer third base, though. Gives Freeman all kinds of time to throw him out. 2 away. Turn the lineup over for C.J. Abrams, our leadoff man. A Ford leaderboard look. Abrams at 91 RBIs. And Alec Burleson, the only player right now with more RBIs in the game than C.J. Abrams. He is a really dynamic player. Strikes out some, sure, but he gets on base at a good clip, has power. Hits this one through the right side. That's a base hit. He's 2 for 2 today.
Yeah, I think we just saw a season worth of numbers for a guy that plays in the middle of the diamond. You know, we refer to those middle positions, especially shortstop, and I know you mentioned the news already. He's going to move from shortstop to second base, but all these up the middle positions, catcher, center field, and then the two guys in the middle in the infield, shortstop and second, those are defensive first positions. If you can put up any type of good offensive numbers, that's always a plus. And when you're at 278 with 29 and 91 and it's mid-August, I mean, that's doing some major damage.
Yeah, middle of the order offensive numbers for a middle of the infield defensive player, and those are, you know, somewhat unicornish kind of players. I mean, there are guys right over the years, and A-Rod would come to mind, certainly. Some good power hitting shortstops and second baseman, Seager, Semien, and others. So it happens.
And the guy you just mentioned, that's the guy that came to mind, because if he's as good of an athlete as he is, but he is underperforming defensively, I feel like it's in there. Like, he's capable of probably being better.
He had a huge lead. He took off running, but that bouncer to the right side is going to be the final out of the inning. Ortiz bounces out 4-3. A 10-pitch inning for Quantrill, who continues to cruise. We've played 2.5 so far. The Rangers leading 2-0.
Today, Kyle Higashioka was recognized as a nominee for the 2026 Feller Act of Valor Award, which honors individuals who embody the service, integrity, leadership, and patriotism exemplified by Hall of Famer and Navy veteran Bob Feller. And for Higgy, the connection is personal. Both of his grandfathers served in World War II, and he's done extensive work with the Special Operations Warrior Foundation, helping to raise over $50,000 for them. But he told me that relationship, guys, has gone both ways. He told me that he's learned a lot from them about the mental side of performance, so it's a meaningful recognition for him, who's tried to both support that community and gain quite a bit from it himself.
Well, it's a great honor, and that's awesome news for Higgy. It's also just a wonderful recognition, I think, that we take the time to make every year, as Langford leads off this inning with a base hit and draws a throw. Corey had a single his first time up. Fouls that one away. Strike one. Rangers hoping, they're seeing some signs that maybe Corey is about to get hot. Went 6 for 21 on the road trip. A home run and a double. Hits that ball sharply out to right field. That's a base hit. Langford turns second. Will go for third. Seager going to try for two, and he dives in there. Little hustle from Corey Seager for his 9th double of the year.
Well, Seager's got to be feeling pretty good after the off day yesterday. This almost a carbon copy between Langford and Seager of the first inning. They went single back in the first. Langford leads this one off with a single, and then Seager shoots this ball into the gap. And how about this aggressive base running? Looks like the hamstring and the lower body, anything that's possibly been bugging him. The back is feeling great.
Boy, that extra base. Look, I get it from the hitter's perspective. It's like, that's a big difference, a single to a double. It gives you a little more slug, all that other stuff. But that's a team base right there. Now the double play is not in order. The infield has to come in. It increases the odds for Jake Berger to get something out of this at bat. That may not seem like a lot, and some people could even position those things as selfish. It's not at all. That's such a big team base to take right there.
Yeah, I love seeing the home runs and the big moments in the game, but good base running is something that just gets me excited, and especially when it's from your leader in Corey Seager. The Rangers needing to make a statement in this homestand after a tough road trip, and it seemed like the off day did everybody well yesterday. They've come out really focused here in the first game of this homestand.
Well, and Murph, you asked for a team to score runs in a lot of different innings. Don't just bunch them all in one inning. A base hit here, and they will have scored in the first 3 innings. That's fouled back. 2-2 on Berger. And he got that run of the first on the Berger double play ground ball. Foscue hit the homer last inning, but boy, now second and third, nobody out. Full count now. So Kent in danger now of loading the bases with nobody out. Oh, the guy who kills left-handed pitching waiting on deck with that sledgehammer. Big payoff pitch, and Berger will live to see another.
How often do you have a lefty on the mound and a lefty on deck, and you just can't wait for that lefty to get up? I thought it was awesome. I think there was a point on the road trip. I looked at the box score, and Nimmo was hitting second in between Jock Peterson and Seager.
Well, Berger strikes out swinging, and that's the first out of the inning.
Well, we did talk about the Kent changeup and how that's pretty much the pitch for him. As a rookie, the thing that you have to work with is execution. A lot of times you have to fight through your nerves and just use the pitches you can the way that you're used to, and Kent finally makes a big pitch.
He just misses there to Brandon Nimmo. Brandon popped out in the first inning, 0 for 1. I said a little bit ago, a base hit here would mean the Rangers have scored in the first 3 innings. You don't even need a base hit. Bouncer right side of the infield, charging in from third, Langford, and he dives in ahead of the throw. Butera wants to see if that's worth a review. And they do want to challenge it. So for the moment,
Washington is challenging the safe call at home plate.
For the moment, Langford called safe. This manager's challenge, brought to you by Mazda. They send it back to New York. Chris Guccione and Marvin Hudson, the review chiefs back there in New York.
It's bang bang for sure. It looked like the ball got there before Langford did, but it was to the opposite side of Langford. Ford had to reach back and get him. This is going to be a tough call. I can't tell. It's like a tip of the finger type of situation.
Yeah. Well, what the Rangers do have going for them is that the call on the field, of course, will. Boy, it's almost simultaneous based on what we're seeing.
Oh, man.
But the call on the field will prevail if they can't decide definitively one way or the other. Yeah, I think he's going to be safe. I think this is going to stand. Just guessing. Probably not the proper thing to do, but I think it'll stand. I don't think it'll be confirmed. And I believe the Rangers will accordingly be ahead 3-0. I also think it was a pretty good challenge on the part of Butera and his crew. So that was awfully close.
It always makes me wonder, you see like the sliding swim move, like if Langford had gone in there and tried to get his right hand to the plate and avoid the tag, would that have helped at all? Catchers are taught to catch the ball and immediately take not only the glove and the tag, but your whole body to the base runner. But either way, I feel like he still got in there quickly.
Yeah, so the whole roll over onto your right side.
Right.
After review, the call on the field stands. The runner is safe. Washington will lose their challenge.
How about that? You just love, you talk about good aggressive base running. And this is just a great call on the part of Skip Schumacher and the Rangers coaching staff. Infield in. You've got a good hitter in Brandon Nimmo at the plate. If he puts it in play, let's go ahead and take a shot at it, and it worked.
Contact, I mean, just Just getting it out there and forcing the opposition to try and make a play can mean everything. So huge run. 3-0 the score. Men at first and third, and Duran the batter. Left-hander delivers, and that first one is low. Our TXU Energy power stats. Ezekiel Duran, since the start of July here at home, these are his American League ranks. Tops in RBIs, homers, extra base hits, and runs. He's fourth in OPS. And that's inside 2-0. So the argument can very solidly be made that nobody is better in their home ballpark right now than Ezekiel Duran, and that's for a pretty extended stretch of what, about 8-9 weeks. In the dirt, and that bounces away. But everybody holds.
And those numbers from a guy, by the way, that Rangers were unsure if he was going to make the team coming out of spring training. He needed to have a good spring to solidify himself and get himself a roster spot. And he's just been a different guy. He's really played loose. And he's played like the Zeke that one we know what he's capable of, but I think he's gone above and beyond.
Yeah, that's ball 4. Duran walks to load the bases. Now we'll see if the Rangers can really crack this open. Bases loaded, 1 out. Foscue homered in an 8-pitch battle last inning. They'll take very high. There was something about that at bat for Foscue that just, I don't know, it just gave you confidence that he either has corrected something or just feels better up there. But pretty quiet with his movements. 2-0 the count.
Yeah, I think what you're talking about is we'll see a difference in players when things are sped up for them. They're taking bad swings, they're having bad misses, they're having hard takes. Like that right there, that's a softer take.
Yeah.
That means he's on time. That means he's seeing the ball out of the pitcher's hand. He's not very herky-jerky. Now it was a 2-0 count. There's a possibility he could have been straight taking right there.
3-0 with the bases loaded, and that is high. Ball 4. So the bases loaded walk makes it 4-0 Rangers. Boy, and there was a split second where I thought Chad Fairchild wanted to call that a strike, and I was immediately wondering, would Foscue challenge that?
Yeah, I was thinking the exact same thing. I don't know if he had the green light there. If he did, great job laying off a pitch just at the top of the strike zone. Yeah, we've seen some chase on this pitch, particularly a strikeout from Ezekiel Duran in his first at bat. So any pitcher in Major League Baseball that's got some four-seam action can make it susceptible for the hitter to chase.
Got another visit right there by Matthews. That's 8 straight balls. And now Jansen goes after the first pitch and drops it down the line foul. Oh, I love that one.
That would have been a good way to welcome him back. And I was almost sure off his bat that it was going to be fair. It just kept hooking.
And he lined out last inning. And he watches on the inside corner. 0-2 the count. 1 out. Bases loaded. Rangers have already plated a couple. And have built a 4-0 cushion. 0-2. And that's flared foul and out of play. Last time Jansen was in uniform for the Rangers was June 2nd. Just back off the injured list today. And he takes low, and that is 1-2. Boy, that was close.
We'll just call it a good take.
Trevor Williams getting ready out of that bullpen. Here's the 1-2 pitch, popped up. Infield fly rule in effect, and that's out number 2. All right, gives us a moment here for Jack in the Box.
Don't get FOMO. Get my Philly style bonus Jack combos and new Philly Munchie Meal.
Welcome to Jack in the Box.
Cody Freeman. Boy, he takes a tough one there. That's a little bit in, but called a strike. Cody walked on 4 pitches in his first at bat. In fact, we've already seen 3 walks today from Kent. Gets that ball sharply down to third. Knocked down briefly by House, but he has no play, and everybody's safe. Rangers out a run. It's 5-0.
This is one of the reasons why exit velocity is so valuable in the game of baseball. A lot of times, if you hit the ball hard, even if you hit it directly at a fielder, good things will happen. Great at bat by Freeman. Rangers continue to dominate here early on offensively.
It goes down as an infield hit and an RBI, and Evan Carter fouls one away. Carter, the 9th hitter of the inning. He lined out in the second. Three hits and a couple of walks this inning for the Rangers. And for the second inning in a row, they are putting a amount of pressure on this kid. 30 pitches in the second. This will be his 30th pitch here in the third. Just his second big league start, and time called. That won't be counted as a pitch, but it felt like one. So that's probably going to be of some level of concern for Butera and the Nationals. 0-2, and it's popped up foul into the seats. Jackson Kent, 4 innings in his first major league start in Chicago, went 78 pitches. Stays 0-2 on Evan. That's just 23 years old, this young man. Drafted out of high school in Illinois. He's high with that one. Lake Park High School in Hanover Park, Illinois. Then he went to the University of Arizona. He was their Friday starting pitcher in Arizona. 1-2, and strike 3 called on Carter. The inning is over. The Rangers leave him loaded, but pretty nice inning. Here come the guys to scrape that infield, but the early work was done. Langford with a base hit. Great hustle by Corey Seager to turn a base hit into a double, and that set up the rest of the inning. Infield, fielder's choice. Langford scampering in. They'd add a couple more on a bases loaded walk, and then that hit from Freeman, and the Rangers up big early. Well, as you can see, it's 5-0 Rangers. And as Quantrill with a sizable advantage here. House, Lyle, and Cruz do this inning. And Quantrill catches the bottom of the zone for a strike, so he's getting those calls right on the edge. One and two the count.
Maybe a similar situation we talked about when he got the first pitch fly ball out from Dylan Cruz to start the second inning, and then went at Vivas, just pounded the strike zone. Just doing the same thing here, and burns off the outside corner with a sinker. And how about 95? I feel like Quantrill's velocity is really good tonight. He's got some good action on his cutter. Watch this come back. Starts off the plate just a little bit, and at the last second, you get a little ride back from that sinker.
So now Lyle will go after the first pitch and put that one in the seats foul.
And he's working so quickly and efficiently, I didn't even get to make my point, is he's a veteran pitcher and he knows he's got a 5-0 lead, so you're taught to pitch to the score. The last thing you want to do when you have a 5-0 lead is walk batters. So use your defense, pitch to contact, and he's just lighting up the strike zone.
And this one lined out into right field by Lyle. And that's the first hit for somebody other than C.J. Abrams. But your point's a good one, right? I mean, you got a 5-0 lead, and the last thing you want to do is put your teammates to sleep and put guys out there for free. Make the Nationals earn their way back in it. Go after them a little bit. Defense behind him's been good tonight, as that one is low.
Yeah, and even though you had an off day yesterday and your bullpen is rested, you still want to go as far into this game as you possibly can. You know, we looked at the schedule at the top of the broadcast, and you've got a few versus the Nationals. They're 4th in the National League East, and then you've got the Angels, who are struggling but just played the Rangers really well out in Anaheim. You have a prime opportunity to go 4-2, 5-1, and gain some ground in the division, gain some ground in the wild card if you perform against these two teams. And Quantrill, and Skip Schumacher said it himself, it all starts with pitching. It always does.
1-2 the count. It really is going right after these guys. Look at the standings in the West. Rangers right there. Mariners, for as much as they've struggled, they're not that far out of the picture either. They're just 4 back. In the dirt, 2-2. I think the other thing for Quantrill, we spent a lot of time at the top of the broadcast and in Rangers game day today talking about who are the Washington Nationals. They've overachieved a little bit this year, and they're really, really dynamic offensively. They have been all year. That is to say, with the exception of this month, they have not been very good this month. 2-2. Chopper up the middle. Durant, quick flip to second for one, and Seager's relay not in time. Cruz does beat it out. It does have good speed.
See this big first hop. Zeke had to wait on it. If he was able to come get it right away and get that ball to Seager just a tick faster, then you can see where this double play would have been completed. But there's nothing that Zeke could have done to change the outcome.
So now Vivas, and he fouls this one away. You know, the trade deadline came and went in that first week of August, and among the moves the Nationals made, they did trade Luis Garcia Jr., who was having a great year for them as their first baseman, and Then, of course, they've dealt with the injury to James Wood, who's been out now in the 12 games he's missed. The Nationals have gone 5-7. Well, without Wood and without Garcia, this month the Nationals are hitting .231. That's their worst month of the year. Their OPS, or on base plus slugging, totals .682. That's their lowest for any one month this year. So for all the great numbers they put up this season offensively, they're down some bodies right now. 2-1 pitch is lifted down the third baseline out into left field, and the play made out there by Langford. That ends the inning. So Quantrill does it again. A scoreless fourth inning now, doing a great job pitching to that scoreboard with the Rangers up 5-0. How about the first pitch today, Murph? Now you a Landman, Yellowstone?
I've not watched Landman. I've watched some Yellowstone and some of the other series that go along with it. So it's pretty cool to see Taylor Sheridan here today. I didn't know that he was a lefty.
Didn't either, except, you know, I mean, Hollywood guy, the creative, you know, right brain, left-handed guy. There's a swing and a fly ball, deep left. Did Langford just go? He's back to the wall, and that one is caught for the first out of the inning. And Langford with a loud out to begin the fourth.
And someone's feeling good today. That off day did him well also. One of the many Rangers players that came to the park feeling good today. Wyatt slowed down a little bit offensively on the road trip. Hit a big homer the other night. But batting average numbers aren't exactly what you would have expected. He was hot on the homestand before. This is a really good swing, just misses it. 2 for 3 nights so far for him. Seems like every time you turn around, he's coming to the plate.
In the dirt, and Kent skips that one up there. Interesting, Kent's back out, by the way. 5-0 score and a couple of 30-pitch innings. But they are challenging the 23-year-old. Seager sends out a mile in the air left field. And that is the second out of the inning. So give him credit. There was talk after his start in Chicago when the Cubs came around for a third time against Kent. They let him go ahead and face PCA, and for a third time it did not go well for him. But the thought afterwards and the discussion afterwards was like, look, you know, this season is what it is, and maybe it's just an opportunity to learn some things, for individuals to learn things, for the team to learn stuff about them. And so here's another spot where the Nationals apparently looking to push this young man just a little bit and see him maybe get through whether it's a mental thing or a physical threshold, whatever. His 80th pitch of the night here. It misses badly.
And I guess if you've been watching baseball lately, it's not really any different than any other pitcher out there. I mean, Pete Crow Armstrong is basically dismantling any pitcher on the mound. I think he's homered already tonight again.
There's a little roller up the middle by Berger, and he is aboard. Rangers have a 2-out runner. So that is interesting, right? With Pete Crow Armstrong, and I you know, more and more lately you're hearing his name thrown in the mix for the National League MVP with Ohtani. Are you buying that, or do you think he's in that conversation, or is it still Ohtani's to lose?
I think when you add up, you know, we'll bring up WAR from time to time and how it's a number that nobody really knows how to calculate, but it just talks about the overall type of player you are off of the advanced metrics. And we've kind of mentioned it already tonight. When you are a premium defender at a premium position, which Armstrong is, I was looking at was it defensive runs saved or outs above average maybe. I mean, he is in first place by a mile. So when you play that type of defense and then you hit for power and you do what he does offensively, I would say it's at least part of the conversation.
Base hit for Nemo sends Berger to third base. So the Rangers trying to mount a little 2-out rally.
Well, with the recent track record and knowing what Brandon Nimmo does against lefties, you knew at some point he was going to barrel the ball up tonight. This a ground ball single, but it's 106 off the bat. It's just another example of what a great hitter this guy is.
Well, they pushed Kent a little bit. He got the 2 outs in this inning, but couldn't quite finish it off. So Blake Butera makes a signal, and he'll take the ball from the rookie. Rangers up 5-0 and into that Nats pin in the 4th. So 5-0, Rangers leading and still batting in this 4th inning with a couple of men on and 2 out. Trevor Williams, a right-hander, veteran right-hander, on here for the Nats.
Williams just an organizational guy. The Nats love him. He's pitched pretty well this year in limited action. This will be his 7th game. His ERA is under 2.5. Just 2 walks, 14 strikeouts. One of the 3 inherited runners he's had has scored. Not a hard thrower anymore. He's never been a guy that lights up the radar gun, but his fastball averages 90 miles an hour.
Goes to work on Duran, who is 0 for 1 with a walk. A strikeout in the 2nd inning, a walk last inning on 4 pitches. And it's 1-1. Rangers have Jake Berger at third base, Brandon Nimmo at first. Here's Jake. Yeah, here's Brandon. Here it is. Ooh, right in there. 1-2 the count. Duran batting out of the 5th spot in the lineup today for the Rangers. And he'll take high. 13 home runs, 64 RBIs. What a year it has been for Duran. He did not have a good road trip, but that does not differentiate him much from the rest of his teammates. It was not a positive week for the Rangers out on the road. Full count. Duran was just 4 for 28 with a double. Runners lead. Williams pitch. That one is in there. Strike 3 called. And the inning is done. So Duran down looking for the first time tonight. The Rangers held scoreless an inning, but never mind. We go to the 5th inning and the Rangers are up 5-0.
Cal Quantrill has renewed confidence in his fastballs this season, and he's having the results too that have really backed it up. Jordan Teague suggested this offseason that he should lean on them more, and he had some numbers to tell him why he should do it, and Cal said that gave him the extra push and the confidence to actually go out there and do it. Jordan Teague said as guys get older, sometimes they start trying to invent things and do things differently, but said it's really important to remind them that the things that they already possess are still pretty good.
Yeah, you look at the 3 variations of his fastball. That 4-seamer throws it 20% of the time, the sinker 26%, and the cutter 27%. So those make up a big part of his arsenal. His split finger is his main out pitch as far as secondary pitches go. But when you can move those 3 pitches either straight as an arrow with maybe a little hop or whatever you want to call it, plays up, and then mix in the sinker and the cutter, those 2 pitches go opposite ways. I feel like that's been a proven track record in the last few years, that pitchers that can throw all 3 of those can have quite a bit of success throwing mainly the 3 of those.
upstairs with that fastball. 2-2. So when you were playing, do you remember guys who would use all those fastballs like that and lean that heavily on them?
I don't think so.
Yeah,
I think it was like sinker cutter, because usually guys that had a four-seamer, their main secondary pitch was curveball or a changeup or a split finger. I can't remember a guy off the top of my head that threw all three, and this is just an example of a good four-seamer riding at the top of the strike zone, regardless of velocity. If you throw it well with some good spin, it's hard for any hitter to catch up with, especially if you're guessing. When you have different pitches in the back of your mind, and we told you at the top of the show, he's got 4 different pitches that he throws at least 20% of the time, kind of like we talked about Nathan Eovaldi last season. So you're going to not only just flip a coin, you're going to flip a coin a few different times to try to figure out what pitch it is.
High fly ball to left field, and Langford's had some work out there tonight. Makes another catch, 2 away.
It's more like flip a coin. All right, is it going to be fastball or is it going to be off speed or breaking ball? All right, flip a coin. All right, fastball. All right, let's flip a coin again. Is it going to be the four-seamer or the sinker or the cutter?
Yeah.
We're going to have to get, I think, a die is what we're looking at instead of a coin.
Oh, with 2 quick outs, he works to Young here. Young grounded out in the 3rd inning. Quantrill has faced 3 over the minimum to this point. He's allowed 3 hits. That's it. And he goes 1-1 on Young, and he's been pretty effective and efficient. I mean, he's just barely over the 60 pitch count, or 60 pitch mark, I guess, at this point. That is inside. 2-1. Not happy with that last one. Here's the 2-1. And that's in the air, short left field. But Seager going out and has plenty of time to get to it. It's another 1-2-3 inning for Quantrill. He started the inning with yet another strikeout. It was Harry Ford. He's gotten him both times tonight. And it's a 1-2-3 fifth.
Rangers baseball on RSN is brought to you by Choctaw Casinos and Resorts, the official casino and resort of the Texas Rangers. And by your North Texas Chevy dealers. Chevy drives Texas.
Rangers have built an early 5-run advantage in the opening game of this series with the Washington Nationals. And as we go to work in the bottom of the 5th inning, Jock Peterson will bat for Foscue. Foscue had the start against the lefty. He homered and drew a bases loaded walk. So great night for him.
He's going to sleep well.
Yeah. Jock, meanwhile, goes 0-2 now against the right-hander. So Peterson will take over the DH duties from here. He was 0 for 2 on Sunday. Similar situation. He pinch hit and then stayed in as the DH. Lifts this high in the air, left side of the infield, and it's a playable ball for Nunez. 1 away. Gives us a moment for Spectrum.
Spectrum Internet, the most reliable internet you can count on.
Danny Jansen's 0 for 2. Well, he'll take strike 1 from Williams. Williams came in the last inning to get the final out. First man up out of the pen today. So he's faced 2 hitters so far. he could have been done after the strikeout to in the 4th inning, but when they decided to bring him back out in the 5th, then you have to face the full 3 batters. Not that it really matters at this stage. That's what Williams is in there to do. It's funny how those things seem so jarring at the time. Pitch timer, a 3-batter minimum for a reliever. And only 2 pickoffs over to first base. And then once you do it for, I don't know, a couple of months or whatever, it's
just part of the game.
Yeah, it's second nature. It's like, oh, they didn't always do it this way. That's low and away. Full count. I do feel like guys are finding little workarounds though when it comes to the pitch timer or something.
Yeah.
I feel like the pace of play and the time of games have started to creep up a little bit.
I think so.
Now part of that could be to the ABS. Not that the reviews themselves take a lot of time, but when an inning would otherwise be over, an ABS might keep it going,
yeah,
and then stuff happens. Anywho, 3-2 pitch, and Jansen. Ooh, foul tipped that one into the mitt. Well, that's a strikeout. Second of the night for Williams.
Williams has an interesting little crossfire working there. And you see it just tip off the end of that bat. Williams just an interesting case. You talk about a guy reinventing himself. If you go back as recently as 2020, his arm angle was considered more of a low 3/4 35-degree arm angle. 2021 he switched it to 28 degrees. 2022 21 degrees. So slowly it just keeps dropping. And then about 2023 it's where he's been sitting and living. 18-degree arm angle in 23, goes to 17 in 24, 16 last year, back up to 17 this year. So I would say that it was slowly crept down by design, and then the last 3 or 4 seasons it stayed about the same. So you see this sweeper right here at 80 miles an hour. With that lower arm angle, you can probably get more horizontal movement on that pitch. And since he's not a hard thrower, we mentioned the fastball just about 90.
Two and two. Well, to take your reinvention thing just a little bit further, really pitching as a reliever for, not that he hadn't relieved in the past, but exclusively as a reliever for the first time in his career. And boy, he strikes out Cody Freeman to complete a 1-2-3 5th inning. He's faced 4, he's retired 4, 3 of them on strikes. Williams doing well. We're through 5 innings and the Rangers up 5-0.
Check out StatCast 3D powered by Google Cloud. Cal Quantrill has had a good night and he's been really good against the lefties. He's managed that cutter in a lot of different areas of the strike zone, and we've seen the lefties chase in off the plate. They've been pretty aggressive on him, and they've just had a hard time really getting the barrel to anything, especially that cutter.
Well, top of the order here, and C.J. Abrams 2 for 2 against Quantrill. So now a third tour for Cal. And he finds that outside corner. 1-1 the count.
And you see the outside cutter there. Like, it's one thing if you try to get in on the hands. It can look like a 4-seamer till the last second. It makes you chase in off the plate. But one of my least favorite pitches as a left-handed hitter was the backdoor cutter. Just looks like a 4-seamer for so long, and it looks like it's just going to be right off the plate or on the white chalk line, and then it darts and it gets that outside corner. You know, former Ranger Jesse Chavez, he used to wear me out with backdoor cutters to the point where when I got to 2 strikes, that's all that I looked for. And I just said, I'm not going to go down looking and getting caught, you know, frozen on that pitch. I am going to swing. So he's going to have to mix it up and throw me a sinker to get me to chase.
Quantrill up with the four-seamer that time, and it's a full count to Abrams. So he's having a hard time with Abrams here tonight. A double, a single, a 3-2 pitch, and that's in there. Strike three called. Abrams down looking. Well, this time he got him.
It kind of looked like the same situation. He had been going away the entire at bat. So when Abrams' eyes were parked out there over the outside corner, he decides to go in there. And it's only, what, the plate's a matter of 18 inches. But it feels, when your eyes are looking in one area and you see a pitch in another area, it's just hard to pull the trigger sometimes.
Strike one on Ortiz. 2 outs, or rather 1 out here. Ortiz takes downstairs. Ball, 1 strike. He's got 12 hits, but 5 of them have reached the other side of the fence. And he takes strike 2. Tonight, Abimelec Ortiz 0 for 2. A Rangers farmhand. First time he's played against his original organization. The 1-2 pitch, bouncer right side of the infield, and an easy play for Duran. 2 up, 2 down in the 6th. Quantrill just kind of cruising to this point, and now we'll deal with Brady House. You know, just talking to some of the Nationals coaches and staff today before the game, and a handful of the players, you can see that it's a very different team without James Wood in that lineup. Pop up on the first pitch here by House, down the right side, just beyond the reach of Nimmo. Strike 1. We're telling you some of the numbers earlier for this team in the month of August. And Wood has missed most of this month. You know, they batting .231 for a team that was just pounding lumps on teams around baseball. It didn't matter who they were playing. They were going to score some big time runs. They might not beat you because they give up so many runs, but they were going to score. Line drive to center, and House retired. Boy, another 1-2-3 for Quantrill, and he adds yet another strikeout, as this time he got Abrams just kind of looking.
Home plate coverage tonight presented by Firestone Complete Auto Care. Check out our dirt cam. This kind of looks like that highlight reel out of The Sandlot. Rangers having fun tonight. Plays at the plate. Got a homer off the bat of Foscue. Seager with a nice hustle double.
Well, a little fly ball to left field, and Carter turned back to start the bottom of the 6th inning. Both these teams kind of aggressive up there with the bats. Here's Wyatt Langford, 2 for 3 today. Scored a couple of runs. Langford has been mired in a bit of a slump, so to have a couple of hits today, I think gives everybody on that Rangers side a little bit of relief. Well, he was just 10 for his last 70. That's a 20-game stretch. We really haven't seen that kind of a downturn for Langford in his career. So very nice to see him off to a good start on this homestand. And he watches low, 1-1. It's that time of year. Rangers just 37 games remaining on the schedule, and a certain sense of urgency now. You said it in the open, Murph, but it's the best time of year. Right? It's the most exciting time. You may or may not get into the postseason and have a run in the playoffs. This, for a lot of teams, kind of is the playoffs.
And you know why? I know personally that it's an exciting time of year, because you know what I've been doing between innings? Looking at the score of the Astros game.
Yeah. Well, we were talking this afternoon. It's about 3 o'clock or so when we got here, and like yesterday was an off day for the Rangers. Man, I found myself so invested in some other games on TV, yelling and screaming at the TV. How in the heck did this guy make that call? What is going on there? And that just makes it so much fun this time of year. Look at Brewers and Mariners, 2 Cinderella teams last year, and the Brewers just crushing the M's today, 11-0. Well, there's strike 3 called, and Langford down looking, but he will challenge. An ABS challenge powered by T-Mobile here, and he made a good challenge. He will not strike out. So a full count. Forces Williams into another pitch in this at bat, and he misses with ball 4. So Langford turns what looked like a strikeout into a walk. That's first base runner against Williams today.
And there's your proof as far as your time of game theory.
Right. That's where ABS, not so much in the time it takes to sort out the call, but just how it affects an inning. Boy, Guardians keep winning. There's a swing, and that's fouled away by Seager for strike 1. Seager 2 hits today, including a double. Great hustle double in the 3rd inning. We're talking about the energy that can bring a team that ends up being a 3-run inning. I think you can look back to that double and credit it in a lot of ways for really sparking that inning. 0-2 to Corey. And he takes off the plate. One out. Langford the runner at first base. Rangers have not been very aggressive on the bases today, and that's a small lead for Wyatt. That's downstairs. The veteran right-hander Williams checking first. 2-2, and that is back up the middle. That has a chance to be 2, and it is an easy double play to end the inning. Rangers can't get anything going in the 6th against Williams, and the 7th inning beckons. And how about that? Quantrill out for a 7th inning with the Rangers up 5-0.
Well, the Rangers have been playing good baseball at home, and Mike Trout and the Angels come to town this weekend, and they'll look to continue to play well here at Globe Life Field. Come out to the ballpark. Get your tickets at Rangers.com.
They're a dangerous team right now. Quantrill back to work in the 7th inning. First pitch swinging, and Lyle flies out to center field. 1 away. Man, Quantrill yet to hit the 80 pitch mark, and he has 1 out in the 7th. Anyway, the Angels, we mentioned, a little bit dangerous these days. They are leading Houston currently 3-0. 6th inning down at the ice box, as they call it. Quantrill crowds Dylan Cruz there with ball 1. So The Angels, for as lousy a year as they have had, they've been a menace in division lately. For the Rangers all year, they've been a menace. Quantrill again trying to get in on Cruz, and the count goes to 2-0.
You know, I feel like if there's a guy in the Angels lineup that is like the epitome of a guy that can beat you down the stretch and just playing like he's got nothing to lose, Wade Meckler. Like the at-bats that I've seen out of him so far, he's like one of those guys. He's a spoiler type of guy. You know, he's had a pretty good season for the Angels, at least from what we've seen. He's hitting .291 this season. It's a guy that you don't expect much from, but he's trying to solidify a major league job. I believe when we played them out there and it was his first game as an Angel and he made that great catch, and I believe he hit a homer. I believe he's from Orange County also, right?
Yeah.
So it's one of those situations he probably wants to play for his hometown team, and he's getting the opportunity. So yeah, that's the type of guy. Oh, who's this guy? We don't expect much out of him, and then he beats you, and he's what? He's a 26-year-old rookie, I think.
Yeah. Sometimes, well, I mean, let's face it, the Rangers, there have been plenty of years in recent memory where they've been in that role, right? They're not competing for a spot in the postseason, so the role becomes, well, can we be spoilers? And it's kind of fun, especially with guys not a lot to lose and whatnot. It doesn't always play out well for them, but sometimes teams just get to be dangerous. And right now, the Angels are that team, it seems.
And for that type of play that I just mentioned, you know, there is pressure more on an individual basis because you're trying to earn and keep a major league job for the following season, because this is kind of the audition. But, you know, the fact in terms of your team winning and losing, that's not really a big deal. And when you're expected to win, it can be frustrating when you lose in April and May for a team like the Angels. But later in the season, when you're out of it, you kind of have that opportunity to just play for yourself, to focus on that following year audition. And if the team's in a, you know, has lost 7 out of 10, there's not as much tension in the clubhouse.
Meanwhile, 2 out here with Cruz at first. And Harry Ford, he's had a tough night tonight. A couple of strikeouts, is 2 times up against Quantrill. And both times, Cal has finished him off with a 4-seam fastball. It's up, and it's 1-1 to the young catcher. Acquired via trade this offseason. Gave Keibert Ruiz an 8-year extension a few years ago. Young, frankly unproven catcher at the time, and it paid him a handsome sum to lock him up for those 8 years. One of those deals we see more commonly today, where teams lock up young guys to buy out their arbitration years and some of their early free agent years, whatnot. And Ruiz has been a massive disappointment in that regard. It's been a real problem for him. And they went out and they get this guy Harry Ford in a trade, and suddenly he's kind of emerging as the guy who gives him real promise behind the plate. They like the way he works behind the dish, and they feel like there's some potential there with the bat as he fouls that away. Full count. Nationals still probably a couple years away from getting things turned around, though. Quantrill's 2-2, and that is called a ball and then challenged. All right. So Danny Jansen just back off the injured list, and that ABS challenge, powered by T-Mobile, is the 3rd out of the inning. A strikeout of Harry Ford. This one a called strikeout. Quantrill got him on the heater the first 2 times today. Swinging this time with the cutter, froze Ford for the final out of the inning. Central, an excellent 7 shutout innings tonight. And it's high fives and back slaps all around as it appears his day is done. Excellent job out of him. Rangers up 5-0. Williams continues to toil in relief and finds the outside corner for a strike. So the former starter Williams, now this year anyway with the Nationals, being used exclusively in relief. So a little bit of change of style for the 34-year-old righty. Went to Rancho Bernardino High School in California. 1-2 the count. Hank Blaylock, I think, went to Rancho Bernardino, as did Cole Hamels.
Yep.
They must have a really good NIL program there. So that kind of talent.
I want to say my senior year of high school, which was the year 2000, I want to say they had 2 first-round draft picks also.
Fouled away by Berger. 2-2.
It's kind of like the old version of trying to think of the high school that's been in the news the last few years. I believe Dino Ebel's kids have gone there. They've had some first rounders. A big hard throwing guy from the Pirates got drafted out of there. I'm
not Orange Lutheran, although that's
I'm forgetting names.
.3-2 pitch and a swing and a miss. Berger strikes out. 1 away.
Corona is what I'm thinking.
Corona
High School.
Yeah, there's some powerhouse baseball schools, man, in Southern California. Brandon Nimmo now. That's 4 strikeouts for Williams. And he dumps one in there for a strike on Nimmo. Well, 11 years in the big leagues for Williams. This one bounced on the ground, and that one's up the middle, a base hit as Nimmo has his second hit of the game.
That's a beautiful way to make a living as a hitter. Nimmo just 2 quiet singles tonight. He's had his moments where he's done damage recently, but this is the type of night that just keeps you afloat and keeps that momentum going. 2 singles up the middle. You get yourself a 2-for-4 night.
So here's Duran, and he takes low for a ball. Duran a couple of strikeouts, but a walk tonight. 1-1 the count. Williams, he's 4 years older than his pitching coach. I believe he may be older than his manager. This one lined into left field. That's a base hit for Duran, his first hit of the night. So the Rangers back-to-back singles in the inning. And boy, that has been the story all night, it seems.
You hear the phrase so commonly these days that an individual player is looking for the best version of himself. And if we're looking at it from a team standpoint, if the Rangers offense is looking for the best version of themselves, it's one that just continues to have good at bats from the first inning through the 9th inning. Even though the 5 runs were scored in the first 3 innings, you just love seeing base runners out there, and for them just to continue to rack up hits and put traffic out there.
More activity in that bullpen as Giovanni Cruz works this one in the air left field and hangs up a bit. Catch made out there by Lau for the second out of the inning. We slide over for Standard Insurance.
I like to save money, and I know you do too. You deserve to pay less. In just a few minutes, see how much you can save. Make that call today.
Don't delay, call Standard today.
All right, 2 gone. Here's Jansen, 0 for 3. And Williams sneaks a sweeper in there for a strike. Jansen's lined out. Retired on an infield fly, struck out in the 5th inning. And it's 0-2. Missed 64 games on the injured list. Had that right forearm strain. Knocked him out of action in early June, and he watches strike 3 called. Jansen goes down looking. The inning is done, and so Williams now through 3 1/3 in relief so far tonight. He's kept it reasonably close. Rangers still up 5-0.
What a night it was for Cal Quantrill. He has stepped up so many times for this rotation and really is quietly having such a big year for the Rangers. Struck out a good amount tonight, got some swing and miss. He was locating the ball all over the place, just gave up 4 hits and 7 runs, or excuse me, in 7 innings pitched. No walks and 5 punch outs. It'll end his night. What a good job it was. And our Standard Insurance call to the bullpen, excuse me. Rangers will bring in Robbie Ahlstrom.
We have a lot to talk about in this 8th inning. Anything else you'd like to let us in on, Murph?
Just getting my wings. It's been we didn't work the road trip, so I'm just building my endurance back up.
Nunez.
That's the excuse anyway.
Here's a strike 1-1 to the Nats shortstop. He's 0 for 2 today, and he's had really very little activity over at short. I think he's had 3 balls hit to him. And he's turned 2 of them into double plays, and there's his first hit of the night. So Nunez is aboard, and now very much a threat to run. He has 40 stolen bases this year. So he's on for Jacob Young. Rangers into the bullpen in the 8th inning. A remarkable start today for Cal Quantrill. 7 shutout, 4 hits. And you said it very early on. Well, the Rangers had scored early, a run in the first, a run in the second. Like a good veteran pitcher, he pitched to the score, which is to say he just threw strikes. He did not walk a batter tonight.
I feel like his stuff was as good as we've seen it, right? And I love seeing a little bit of emotion from him. He seems like an even keel guy. It was great when we were in Tampa a few weeks ago. He had the bases loaded with 1 out, and he got that comebacker right back to him and threw that ball to Austin Wynns, and they made a double play out of it. Chandler Simpson was the batter. He was running, fastest runner in baseball. So you see those moments from him. That play particularly lit him up, and he showed a little fire coming off the mound tonight also.
He was carrying that 95-mile-per-hour fastball into the 7th inning as well. Just looked really sharp. Now the Rangers also, before the game today, Skip Schumacher was asked about his starters for the remainder of this series, for that matter the homestand, And he was non-committal as Young strikes out swinging. One gone in the 8th.
Nice changeup from Robbie Ahlstrom. Starts off the plate, ends up even farther off the plate.
So one away. Brings up Abrams. 2 for 3 tonight. When I say that Schumacher was non-committal initially, he said, you know, we'll have information for you after the ball game in terms of who might start tomorrow. And finally, somebody asked a direct question, that the question they all had, but weren't asking straightforward, which was, well, will DeGrom start tomorrow? And to that, he said no. The question was then asked, what about DeGrom potentially on Thursday? And he said that's an option. So largely what we're waiting to find out is how does Jacob feel tomorrow morning and then the next day, and is it good enough to get back out there, or does he maybe need a little more rest? And who knows? We'll find out. He had the right tricep soreness that took him out of his last start after just 2 innings. 2-1. And Abrams lifts it foul. Initially, Jacob came out and said, I think I'll be good enough to make my next start. That doesn't necessarily mean it has to be on 4 days rest, right? I mean, it could be 5 or 6 days rest, but the Rangers would be just fine with that. I feel like you dodge a bullet if you get him back like that.
Yep.
2-2, and Abrams swings, lifts that down the right field line, and that is a question of fair or foul, and that is strike 2.
It's a long foul ball. I thought it was going to go farther off the bat. I don't know if my gauge is off also. Yeah, it looks discernibly foul from that angle.
Nunez leading, and the 2-2. A swing and a miss. Abrams strikes out. It's back-to-back strikeouts for Ahlstrom in the 8th inning.
Oh, you got a guy that's wanting to yank, and you throw him a pitch away. It looks like there's some cut on that split finger. It's listed as a changeup, but we saw it on the strikeout to Jacob Young in slow-mo. So whatever the guns and things that pick up spin and identify the pitches around here, I don't know what Ahlstrom would call it, if he would call it a changeup or a split finger. Sure looked like a split finger to me.
It's funny how that one gets classified as often as it does as a changeup. So it does seem pretty straightforward. So a man on with 2 outs. Quick visit to the mound because of the announced pinch hitter, Andres Chaparro, who is on here. Batting for Ortiz. '27-year-old infielder. Guy with some power, though. That's one of the reasons they like him in these spots off the bench. He can provide a little thunder immediately.
Thunder indeed. Hit a 467-foot homer versus the A's early in the season. That's tied for the 4th longest home run distance in all of Major League Baseball this season.
As a pinch hitter this year, he is 6 for 13.
Okay.
With 5 of the 6 hits, extra base hits, 3 doubles and 2 homers. So
okay,
he's been. I mean, that's a ridiculous run as a pinch hitter. That's pretty hard to sustain that, and quite impressive. In the dirt, 1-2. Well, that's one of those, you kind of do a double and triple check. Like, wait a minute. I guess that includes subsequent at bats after the initial pinch hit at bat, just to be clear. 1-2 on the way, and that is hit hard out to left field. Langford on the run. It's over his head, and it'll be extra bases again, as Chaparro will have to stop at second on an automatic double. It bounced up over the fence. Nunez came around to score, but he's going to have to go back to third, right?
I believe so.
He's running back to the dugout like, cool, I scored, but not that cool. Yeah, he's like, you got to be kidding me.
Well, you see the exit velocity there. This ball hit on a line. It was hit hard. It hit right off or around that pace sign, and the angle of that fence made it bounce over. So yeah, the Rangers get a little break there.
Keeps the shutout intact. Alstrom is done after that pinch hit double by Chaparro, and now with Brady House coming up, it will be Jacob Junis called in for the Rangers. So 5-0 Rangers on top, but the Nats for the first time today threatening a little bit in this 8th inning, and our Standard Insurance call to the bullpen brings in Jacob Junis.
This will be his 39th game. 42 innings for him. ERA right at 3. He's only walked 7.
Such a key number for a reliever. Oh, tarp's off. Here we go. Junis starts with a breaking ball to House. 2 outs, 2 men in scoring position in the 8th. Sorry, House. I should say Tena, who is pinch hitting here. Jose Tena batting for House. Just saw the pinch hit double a moment ago for Chaparro, and there's a swing and a miss. Tena strikes out on 3 pitches. So Junis makes light work of him in the 8th. In fact, the Rangers end up striking out the side, but it's Jacob Junis coming in, and on 3 pitches, just carving up Jose Tena, inning over.
I don't know about you, but I'm a planner. I like thinking ahead, especially to 2027. So start thinking about your season tickets. They're on sale now. Choose from a variety of flexible membership options and enjoy benefits like discounts and postseason pre-sales. Includes priority access to the 2026 postseason. You can learn more at Rangers.com.
There is no way you planned that far ahead.
I do.
Really?
I do.
That's impressive. So Giovanni Cruz, who had been warming in the bullpen, is ready to go here in the 8th inning. And he deals ball 1 to Cody Freeman. So Williams done. 3 1/3 scoreless for him. It's inside, and it is 2-0. So Vivas moves over to third base. Tena is at second, and Chaparro at first. There's Tena. And this is fouled back out of play. Through 1 pitch, and that's popped up. Outside foul and out of play. So Tena is Tena. You see the little thing? It almost looks like he's you know, taking calls with his broker and stuff. I think that's the pitch comm device, and he's like, the heck with it. I'm not going to put it in a little band in there like everybody else. I'll just stick it out here. I can hear it better.
I thought that was his divot tool.
Right? There's a soft liner into left field, a base hit for Cody Freeman. The Rangers with a good start to the 8th inning. Boy, they just keep piling up the hits.
I like Cody as a hitter. He's a pest up there. His job is to go up there and drive the opposing pitcher crazy. He does his job really well.
Now Evan Carter, and he will take strike 1. It's been a good night tonight. The Rangers 5 runs on 11 hits. They scored those 5 runs in the first 3 innings, and you know, we've seen that from time to time this year. You see it with any team where they might score most of their runs really early and then just grind out the rest of the game, and sometimes that means that the offense just kind of shuts down after those innings, but that has not been the case today. A couple of hits in the 4th, a walk in the 6th inning, 2 more hits in the 7th inning, a leadoff base hit here in the 8th. They've consistently applied pressure. And that ball's hit down the right field line, but foul. 0-2 on Evan. It's 0 runs on 6 hits for the Nationals tonight. I'm not sure what the bigger story is. The Rangers getting back on their feet offensively tonight, and let's face it, 5 runs right now feels like a mountain. After that last road trip, that's nearly a series worth of runs. But maybe shutting out these Nationals right now, that might be the bigger headline. Fly ball, center field, and that's hanging up a while for Young. 1 away. And the lineup turns over again for Wyatt Langford. And there's the other story. That's always the story here. Fellas firing it up out there in right center, back behind the Rangers dugout. And I love watching guys quickly join the fun, find their way there. Nothing more liberating than being able to publicly disrobe. Yeah, whew, feels so much better. ABS challenge here by the Nationals, powered by T-Mobile. That was indeed a ball, so Nationals lose the challenge.
Wyatt's 2 for 2 tonight on his challenges. It's 1 for him and 1 on the opposition.
Yeah, I guess he didn't really, right? He didn't challenge it, but it worked out for him.
Yep.
It's a positive result. So 2 for 2 in that regard. He's also 2 for 3 at the plate with a walk. And that is strike 2. There's a swing and a bouncing ball shortstop. Another chance for a double play and another conversion. So the shortstop Nunez, who seems to be the heir apparent to that position, has started 3 double plays on his birthday tonight. But the Rangers taking a 5-0 lead to the 9th. So 5-0 Rangers did most of the damage early. Big night offensively. Excellent job on the mound, shutting out a potent Nationals lineup so far tonight. End of the 9th inning, and the Rangers go to the bullpen. Our Standard Insurance called the pen. Tyler Alexander on for the 9th.
Yep, Tyler's been a good one for this Rangers bullpen. Another guy that just limits the walks, just 15 of those in 53 2/3 innings. This will, can't remember. Losing my mind. 57th game. Feel like I'm repeating myself.
planner.
That's right. I planned to say it, and I probably didn't. So
that could be. Now we could just check in with your girlfriend. Jared Kelnick is taking over in left field. So the Rangers adding a little defense here in the 9th inning, and Alexander ahead 0-2 on Lyle. So Junis came in to face one hitter. He burned a total of 3 pitches and getting that strikeout. And that was it for him. All this back of Quantrill's 7 shutout tonight. And Lyle holds off. That one is outside. Quantrill 7 shutout innings on 91 pitches.
Pretty impressive.
Like that's I don't know if you get credit for exercise on a night like that.
Well, if you looked up through, I think 40 pitches, he had thrown 30 strikes, and he stayed on that pace for most of the night.
Yeah, he averaged what, like 13 pitches an inning. I was almost surprised he didn't come back out. As oh my gosh, Brewers almost as many runs as Quantrill threw pitches today. 22-0 over the Mariners. But the Mariners do have their last chance. They're batting now in the 9th inning. So, oof, that is some kind of whooping right there.
I'm curious if their season is finally going to translate to some postseason success.
The Brewers.
Yes.
Yeah.
They just have not been able to. Last year it was the Dodgers, and for obvious reasons, because Shohei Ohtani went crazy in that series. It's a fun team to watch.
Swing and a miss, strike 2 on Cruz. Yeah, boy, it seems like they're due. They've been really good now for a number of years, but just can't quite seem to find the formula for the postseason. This team seems better than a lot of the other iterations we've seen in recent years, though. We're going to get a look at them on that next road trip. Rangers will go to Chicago to face the White Sox, and then Milwaukee to see the Brewers. That's a pretty big trip coming up. Alexander's 1-2 pitch, and that's outside. So the Rangers getting a little help from Milwaukee tonight. Meanwhile, the Angels continue to lead in Houston 3-1. That one in the bottom of the 8th inning. The Astros have a man on with 1 out. Boy, Alexander shooting for that corner, can't quite get it. Full count. (3-2). And Cruz takes strike 3 called. And he's indicating that he might want to challenge, and now he does. This is going to be very close. ABS challenge powered by T-Mobile. He got it right. That was a ball. And so he takes the walk.
I think that's where, as a hitter, I would love the ABS challenge. 1 for 4 night. Like if it was 1 for 4 with a 3-run homer, 2-run homer, something like that, a big moment in the game. But he hit a single back in the 7th, only hit of the game. A 1 for 3 is so much better than a 1 for 4. You just feel a lot better about that after the game going into tomorrow.
Well, Andrew Pinckney, who is pinch hitting here, 3rd pinch hitter used tonight by Butera. Pinckney, a 25-year-old outfielder. Very new to the big leagues. The Nationals, in a lot of ways, a land of opportunity for some of these guys. That's a big, tall kid. Been up for a couple of weeks. was a 4th-round pick in 23, and he lines that one out to left field, but Kelnick runs it down, and that's his 2nd out of the inning. And here's Harry Ford. Well, they want to see it finished off. 1-1 to Ford. Interesting, Jacob Latz has started to throw in the bullpen. I don't know what that's all about. 5-0.
Just a little working after the off day, maybe. That's all I can think of.
I mean, let's face it. After that road trip, I mean, it's not like you got a lot of work on that road trip.
No.
You just weren't in position. That's down to their final strike of the 1-2 pitch. That's a ground ball up the middle. Base hit. Cruz will stop at second base. Ford rescues what had been a really tough night for him. Ends up with a single. He was 0 for 3 with 3 punch outs. So that was a very welcome hit for him. With a couple men on base. Asim Nunez, who is 1 for 3. Tyler's first offering, and that one is in there for a strike. Well, the Nats came in here having lost 5 in a row. Rather, 4 in a row, excuse me. It's been a tough month of August for a team that was not that long ago very much in the middle of the wild card chase. That's close. 1-1 the count. I don't think the plans were to really threaten for the postseason this year. So they've made some moves. You had the injury to James Wood, and then reality sets in a little bit. Overall, though, it seemed like spirits were pretty high on the Nationals side today. They came into town despite the 4 straight losses, feeling like, I think that this season has largely been a success.
Yeah, they've kind of stayed above water.
Fouled away, stays 1-2.
Now, if they were to lose tonight, which it looks like they will, then they will go 7 games under 500, and that would be the first time that they've reached that mark this season.
For a team that's been averaging right around 93, 94 losses per year for 5 years. 1-2 pitch, and that's popped up right field. Nemo in a couple of steps. He'll make the catch, and this one is over. The Rangers complete a shutout of the Washington Nationals, and a great way to start this homestand.
Really good night from Cal Quantrill. They got some early offense. They scored in each of the first 3 innings, and a team that's been playing really well at home continues that in the first game of this big homestand.
So only the 4th time this year the Nats have been shut out. That's impressive enough. The Rangers, with that win, get a little separation here momentarily from the Twins and the Blue Jays. And boy, a chance yet to make up a game in the standings in the division, because they're getting a little help at the moment from the Angels. 5-0 Rangers win. Let's take a break. We'll come back and wrap it up for you here in just a moment.